This is Brad with Attitude RC, and last time we fixed the nose on the L39. Everything's dry. As you can see, it's plenty rigid now. It's a little, you can get a little lateral movement out of it still, but it's a lot more solid with those two carbon rods in it right there. Carbon rod. Basically, I just glued them from the front to the back, and that made it a lot more solid. So maybe when we nose in, it'll take the hit this time. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do was put something to take care of this lateral movement. See how it kind of wobbles side to side because it's been fatigued from many crashes. So what I did was I made this piece that goes from the front to the back, and it's got to go in two pieces because you can't put it the full length of it otherwise. So I'll glue it together once it's in, and then glue the whole thing down. And this is a nice solid piece up at the front, and then it reaches across on an angle to this back corner. So hopefully that'll take care of some of the torsion on it. I avoided the servo in there so we could leave the stock servo location, and this piece actually came out really nice. It's tapered down in the front so it fits nice and snug in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some CA glue to glue this part together once I get it in there, and then just use hot glue to put the whole thing down. And it just kind of lays in like that. I don't know if you can see that very well. Kind of lays in right across to the back corner under there, down on the floor. So hopefully that'll make it a little more rigid. Now I'm going to glue this in, and then I'll show you when I'm done how it came out, and hopefully it'll strengthen it up a little bit. Okay, I got the part all glued in, and it did make it a little more rigid. Still got a little bit of movement out of it, but it's a lot more rigid. Part's in, it's good and solid in there, and it helps the movement this way too, up and down. So when we nose this thing in, it should be better. You can see it went in there, it goes across, which I bet you if I cross both sides it'd probably help a lot, but this did a nice job. And it's a lot more rigid. Let's tuck all this back in and make sure the cowl still fits. Check the battery too. Make sure that still goes in, since I modified everything here. Yep, battery seems to fit just fine. And the cowl, let's make sure that goes on. And we are good. Starting to look like a plane now. May even fly. Now you can see we're still got some gummed up down here, right along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a sanding block and just rough that up pretty good, and then I'm going to spray some white paint on it, and just to cover it up, make it look nice. And I'm going to probably put a little black on the nose too, just to make it look like it's supposed to again. And then I decided for the tips, I was just going to order new ones. Somebody had glued the ones that were on there on. I checked, they're only 10 bucks for them, so I'm just going to order new ones for it. Those should go right on. The magnets seem to still be in place, and this thing should be flying here very shortly. Okay. I hit it with a block just a little bit to thin it out, or to knock down some of the bumps. And now I'm going to put a little paint on it and see if we can't come over some of this glaze and kind of make it look just a hair nicer. Basically, I just take my airbrush and make sure I got the mess out of here. And start putting some paint in real light. And I use acrylic paint on here so it doesn't, there we go. As it fills in, just kind of covers up all that mess so it looks white again. this a little bit. Do the rest of the seam. Nice and white. Looking much better already. Now, while I got the white on the airbrush, I'm going to do the underside of the wing. I'm just going to paint the servos. I don't know if you can see that very well, just so they blend in with the rest of the aircraft. Make it a little more scale. Very well in here. Let's do the other one. Now the other thing I'm probably going to do is take off these servo wires and move them. I don't know why they had them there. Whoever worked on this last did a lot of stuff I'm not 100% sure why they did it. Yeah, it looks a little better. Looks a little better. I'll coat the color up here. And I don't know if you can see that. Let's put that right there. It's at the nose, on the underside of the nose here. I'm going to redo the black, so I'm not really worrying too much about overspray right now. There we go. Now it matches. Now the plane actually is white again. Is there anywhere else I need to touch up? This side right here. Just a hair. There we go. Now I'm going to change colors and tape off the nose, and we're going to do the nose. Okay, I did a few more things. I don't know if you can see it, but I have my radio in. It's all set up in there. I have the wires kind of tied back out of the way. I also took the stupid tape off those servo wires and tucked them in a little more, and just put a little bit of glue on there just to hold them in place. That's really not how it's supposed to be wired, but the main wing's glued on with epoxy, it looks like, so I'm not taking it off. So I guess I got my radio on, and I just got a little battery here to test this, make sure everything works. Plug that in. Make sure everything's got room here. Put that in. Tuck in my wires. Canopy goes on. Weight feels a little different, but all in all, came out kind of nice. Now let's check our direction. Ailerons, yes. Elevator, good. Speed control's ready. And everything off the desk. It's working good. So the next video you see will be the maiden, or the remaiden of this L39. Thanks.